Three.
What's up, everybody? Let's go. You're watching the very first episode of One on One MMA Clinic, the only MMA show hosted by not one, but two Jiu-Jitsu black belts. I'm Patrick Gabunton, one half of the show. My other half, my brother, my coach, Alex Rychich. How you doing, Alex?
Good, brother. Good. How are you? Don't forget also like a journeyman in MMA, like you had some experience in MMA. I
I
had a little bit more experience, but like I would like to say journeymans, and big
I
fans.
dabble. I dabble.
Yep. So like more or less like I had like 9 professional fights, 7-2, most of them in Europe. I did one here like a few years ago. Just like that was on my bucket list, so I wanted to do one on American soil. I did it. I wish I did more, but like I said, it's not easy to train for MMA. That's why we have to respect those guys who put it on the line and
Absolutely.
entertain us weekend to weekend. Especially now, like almost every weekend we have some UFC event, and that's pretty amazing.
How many submissions you get?
Submissions, I think all my victories are by submission. Like
Uh,
some maybe it was like from submission to ground and pound. So it was like TKO, but more or less it was from submission hold to
yeah, fucking.
yeah. I think I had like two triangles. I was holding triangles from mount and just throwing elbows. But
Yeah.
let's say I had all submissions. I think on Sherdog is all submissions.
Sounds good. That's how we'll introduce ourselves next time. Yeah, over here I just got that one MMA fight. Thinking about getting back into it, but yeah, right now I'm 0-1 according to what is it Illinois commission.
Not by me, not by me. You did pretty good in that one.
I don't know. I still think I won, but it doesn't matter what I think. It's the judges that score the fights.
Exactly, and that's what's happened to us many times when we put some. At least you're not putting bets. I'm putting bets.
Yeah, no.
I'm cursing those referees back and forth.
Part of the game, part of the game.
Part of the game. Yeah, talking about that and the weird decisions. Like, what do you say about like Tom Espinal and what was the weekend before that? Like, we had two main events ending up by
Yeah.
Ortega. Yeah, like
Ortega with that injury.
yeah,
It's uh it's kind of weird how they rule like some of these injuries a loss versus some of the injuries a no contest. I think part of it is because there's no foul. So if it was a an injury from a foul, then maybe they'd go no contest. But I don't know. How do you feel? Should that have been a loss on Aspinall or Ortega?
no, and also I'm coming back to the my countryman Alexander Rakic against Jan Blachowicz. Just like I don't know. I think maybe they should change something. Like about that because especially like Ortega, what happened? Like you said, even like you count that as a submission. I was like, I don't really see it, but like actually he was attacking that arm, so that can go as a how to say justified uh, win,
Yeah,
but like what happened with Aspinall and Rakic now maybe like a few months ago, I don't know when was that event. Like I wouldn't that put like a victory, like I think also the guy who wins, he doesn't feel actually, if you ask him honestly,
yeah, yeah.
it's a victory. I
I
mean,
mean, I watched that just the kick that kind of ended the Aspinall fight like 10 times, and it wasn't a leg, like he didn't check the kick or anything. He kicked the thigh, and he just stepped weird afterwards.
yeah, but those stuff happens, I just hope we don't have now like curse of the main event, like this is like really crazy. I mean, it cost me last weekend, to be honest, but like luckily or unluckily, like Paul Craig destroyed for me much earlier with his like worst performance. I think like I was really like only that like submission attack at the beginning, even though if you ask me, that was like not that good attack. on the heel hook. It wasn't that, not even that technically good. Uh,
Mhm.
he really didn't show up that night. I think like even after that exchange, that first exchange, I saw like that he's not in that fight. Was some issues, was like not good preparation, was he overwhelmed? I don't know what, but like I was really putting a lot of hopes in him, and even like
Yeah.
got defeated by Volkan, who is not like, he wasn't shining, like he wasn't like Volkan from the old days, to be honest. But still, he managed to get a victory. Good for him.
Not bad for your worst performance, right? To still get the W.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
At the
that.
end of the night, that's all what's important. Like you can fix your performance, but lost, that's gone.
So what? Did you win any money last weekend?
Yeah, talking about that, like our credentials, like I'm pretty good, like saying about that. That I saw how the fight started and everything. I wouldn't put my money on Craig. Uh, sorry, just give me a second. Talking about that, live betting. I think I'm best in that, to be honest.
Hmm.
And he was pretty big underdog. Ludwig Klein from Czech Republic, and like when I saw a fight how he started and how he took it, like he looked for me much sharper, much more decisive. Even though Mason Jones was like a big favorite, I think after a minute or like let's say maybe 2 minutes maximum in the fight, I decided to throw like $20, and I get pretty good, like almost $100 on $20.
You're a wild man, but hey, it paid off.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this one didn't. Like, I was like thinking, and I was thinking exactly more or less how happened in the fight. I was just expecting that he's gonna go for a for a KO and knock his head off. But like Petty finished it on submission, even though it was like some transition when he had a back and
Hmm.
he was losing. I was thinking he will go to the mount and finish with the ground and pound, and I was cheering so bad. That would be pretty good. Like
So after the first round, you had Patty.
no, I had it before. I was like
Or
thinking before the fight started because like already like I had like some parlays and everything went down after my anti-hero Craig. So I was like, I was watching event and I was trying to get in the game and get some money back. I did good on the previous one. On this one, unfortunately, I was so close to hit it. Like I wasn't sure 100%. That's why I went a little bit less. I just put like $10, and it was close. It was very close.
yeah, I mean, regardless, that's kind of par for the course for Patty, right? Like losing kind of early, giving up some positions and just coming out with a finish.
Yeah, but like we talked previous week. Like I mean, we didn't post anything, but like we were like few weeks like
Yep.
warming up for this like premiere.
We
And
kind of predicted that, right? Like,
yeah, more or less. Like he's super strong guy, but like you cannot keep that pace, like because Levitt, in my opinion, technically he cannot follow Paddy and most of the guys in UFC. But I think he have that gorilla strength into him, then that put him to the UFC and even gave him a couple victories. But I think like in and that he has to work in all aspects to lift up his game, and I think he will have more success. So I expected first round he will manage to get
mhm.
through and to muscle it out. But in the second round, Petty would feel him, and I was thinking he will finish. I expected him stand up or ground and pound, but like unfortunately for me or luckily for him, he got that choke.
One of those instances where like I think Levitt had the right game plan and he was going towards it, and it didn't work anyway, you know.
No, I think the technical aspect of him, I mean, unfortunately for him, is not picking up with everything else. Like now, high level opponents, higher stakes. Like it's gonna be hard for him if he doesn't change anything. Like even his striking, even wrestling is
Yeah.
like for me only based on the power, like what we saw, like when he had like from that slam,
Hmm.
for that slam, like to make a KO, you know, that's crazy. Like to produce that force, but that was like super early in the fight when he's super fresh,
Right.
and that power can show like that time it did, even like in the first round with Petty, but like after it's hard to keep that pace.
Yeah, especially against Patty, who just like as much damage or like as much as he was losing the position, like that guy has an endless gas tank. You know, he's always in that fight.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. Okay, brother, what are you having tonight? I'm
T Tonight, I've got my oat milk latte, and they actually remembered the oat milk this time, so I'm not gonna be squirting out my butthole later, which is great. How about you? What is that? Is
I'm
that
on
Modelo?
Modelo tonight. Modelo.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Nice.
I switch, but still on Mexican beers.
That's right. Mexican
Okay,
household.
brother,
Hello.
let's start. We have like a pretty big event, two
Yeah.
title fights. You know, a lot of to talk about. Um, like starting like all good fights, all interesting fights. Really hard to predict. You know, like I was doing some deeper analysis today, like preparing for the show. You know, like it's really hard one for betting or even like
This is a fun one to get ready for because, like, yeah, like you said, right off the bat, it's hard to pick fights. But when you start to look at all these fighters' resumes and go through their fights, like, I like a lot of these guys. I like a lot of these guys
yeah,
and ladies.
yep, it's amazing event. Let's start with the first one. We have Magomed Ankalaev and Anthony Smith. Who do you got here?
I know you're high on Ankalaev. I think he's great too. Probably gonna fight for a title. But we're talking about Anthony Smith, right? He's a veteran, and unlike some of the other veterans that are sticking around a little too long, like Anthony Smith, he's still winning fights and he's finishing them. And if you look at his experience, like how many 5 round title fights, main events has he had? Like more often than not lately, he's fighting in the main event. So I think this 3 round fight's going to be great for him. You might call him a gatekeeper, so to speak, but like this fight, this is one gate he's going to keep closed, in my opinion. I think Magomed's a good striker, doesn't grapple too much. And speaking of Paul Craig, that's his one loss. Is
Yeah, but
submission
like
loss to Paul Craig. And I think someone like Anthony Smith, he's gonna see that as a weakness. Anthony Smith, he's got some good grappling too. So I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony beats him up on the feet, takes him down, and works his grappling for a decision victory.
yeah, and he's coming from like 3 win streaks. You
Yep.
know, Magomed eight, the first one, let's say that one, he was winning even that fight against Paul Craig. You know, like
Right.
he lost in the last seconds. Like you know, like if you watch the fight and you know the outcome, you even ask yourself how that happened, how that happened. I think it was the last seconds of the fight. You know,
Mhm.
so it's pretty crazy that he didn't endure that and like even try to go to sleep. You know, that that was really surprising. You know, like I think that he didn't tap that he would like survive that attack and win even that fight. I mean, all props to Paul Craig, you know, but like
I know you're mad at him right now, but yeah.
very mad, very mad. Yeah, but like talking about this fight, you know, like I was pretty big on Magomed Ankalaev, you know, like but like I was now rewatching everything, thinking about it. Like, I mean, how you can say anything bad about the guy who have 8 fight win streak? You know, like
That's true. Yeah.
since he came to UFC, expect that only one that freak accident or coincidence, call it however you want. Like he beat everyone, you know. But honestly, like now thinking again, like he doesn't have that X factor, you know.
Mhm.
He's pretty how to say calm. He picked his shot, he's technically really sound, like nothing is out of
Mhm.
out of the box, but like he doesn't go for the kill. Like if you look his fights, I mean, not that he didn't finish anyone, but like only the guys who go crazy and who are not that technically sound, he's gonna get finished. Going back to Ion Kutelaba, who was like pushing the pace, and after that first, what was that? Some freak accident, I cannot remember now. On the first fight, they rerun it.
Ah, I forget what something weird happened to where they ran it back. They had an instant rematch, didn't they?
Yeah, and he even finished it, I think, second time. Even no, it was at the beginning. I think referee jump in. Like I cannot allow
Oh, it was just a bad stoppage, I think.
something like that. It was like after less than a minute. So that type of the fighters, but Anthony Smith will bring that, but like much more technical, much more smarter. Like if you look more or less, most of that, like everything in UFC was like he had 4 decisions and how many, like 3 or 4 finishes.
Mm.
So my opinion is now, especially like if you look like he's the biggest favorite. I forgot to tell that he's minus 490. That's crazy.
You're talking about
Against
Ankalaev?
Ankalaev, he
And
mean minus 490, bro.
I mean, he's got a crazy streak, but I think Anthony Smith, he's seen that stuff. And like if you look at Anthony Smith, his resume, as far as like after his resurgence, like right, he's only lost to like champions or guys that are like championship caliber, right? The only guy that he's lost to that wasn't a champion like as of late was Alexander Rakic, and I think that guy's gonna find his way back into a title shot sooner or later. So it'll be a big statement if Magomed beats Anthony Smith because that's gonna let you know like this guy's arrived.
Yeah, I agree with you, but like also few things we need to put in perspective now. Like Anthony Smith is also working like a commentary at UFC.
Yep.
I think like that. I was listening him a little bit in some interview. He wanted to fight beginning of the summer. They couldn't book the fight because of the Ramadan,
Mhm.
so the fight came much later, I think, and he had like booked some. So he trained most of the on the road. I think that's how I understood. Also in May his mother passed, and he was like raised by her and grandfather. So I think so he was really connected with his mother. Like how is that gonna influence him?
Mhm.
It's gonna give him an additional fire, or it was like too much for him to handle. So,
Right.
but like
No, yeah, no doubt that'll affect him, but like you said, will it boost him or take away from him?
yeah, but like honestly, I have to go against my guy who I was putting pretty big, especially like when you look like that Anthony Smith is plus 380.
Hmm.
I will go with him. I'm gonna look positively on this, and
You're seeing dollar signs, is what you're saying.
yeah, yeah, it's just like on minus 490. I mean,
We're
I'm
talking
gonna
about
go with
Anthony Smith here, man. He's a vet. And I actually think like, okay, maybe the analysis job could take away a little bit from his training, like you said. But generally, if you look at like the guys in the analysis booth, they usually do pretty well after getting those gigs, right? They
yeah.
like Michael Bisping won a title after it, DC, Cruz, he's still sticking around, he's winning fights.
No, I think like what really happens, like they start thinking not as a fighter only, they start looking other fighters, preparing for the job. Same thing what we do now. It give you another perspective.
Mhm.
And that I think like influence something like then maybe like on the training, like they're trying some things that they would maybe not if they're only fighters. So I
Yeah.
think it for sure influence positively. But again, I'm saying like too much thing happened with him also. Like I think usually they take time off to prepare for the fight. I
Mhm.
think he had some schedule problems, so how I understood he was training on the road, like, and so I think that can be a factor, but also like I'm gonna go with him for this one. I think,
I'm going Lionheart.
yeah, me too. Let's go. What's the next one? Next one is Alexandre Pantoja against Alex Perez. Really interesting fight.
I'm putting my money that Alex will win this fight.
Really? Which
They're both,
Alex?
they're both Alex. I got Pantoja in this one. Um, interesting. The one common opponent they both have is Davison Figueiredo, and if you look at those fights, like obviously, Perez hasn't fought since that. How long ago was that? As almost 2 years ago.
2 years. Two
So
years.
fight. So how will he deal with the inactivity? I don't think he took too much damage in that fight, right? He just got choked.
No, he even did pretty good. I think he put the champ on his back. He was attacking. I think like uh, it was some scramble. Like I think Figueroa tried some finish before that. He defended. He put him back to the, and then he just grabbed his neck and
Yeah,
finish it. I'm proper finish on my again similar pulling, just like too much like burning the hands, not like squeezing in. But soon enough, we're gonna talk about that
that's
mistake
right. Don't forget
mistake
it.
with the guillotine that most people make, and that I'm like completely against it. And I don't know, like even like how high level people make that mistake. So but like still he got a finish, and that was like pretty quick. I think it was like a minute and a half, I think less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty early. A lot of action, but yeah, it's an early finish.
Minute 57, I just see it here. Yeah, it was less than 2 minutes, like exactly like I said.
But I will say, like, Pantoja versus Figueiredo, when they had their fight, that one fight of the night for the reason that it was back and forth. Like, granted, Figueiredo he won on all judges' scorecards. It was a clear victory, but Pantoja was in it the whole time. And I think that's a big statement to like how Pantoja kind of competes with the top of the level, right? He has a win over Brandon Moreno, who's in the co-main event, right? Former champions.
Actually, he has a win about against both
Yep.
co-main event. Yeah, like
Yep.
he had two wins over Brandon Moreno.
Yep.
Yeah, he have like from Ultimate Fighter, but they didn't go officially in the scorecard. I mean, in the record, because it's like 2 rounds. But
Uh-huh.
actually, he had a win.
Against Kai Kara France, right?
Yeah, against both
That's
of them, and then another one over Brandon Moreno, like in the UFC actually.
Yeah. I mean the confidence you gotta have coming into this fight, right? Like you already beat the two guys that are co-headlining. And I think like again, like that just says the level that Pantoja's at. I will say that that's a little bit questionable is his gas tank. In his last fight against Brandon Royval, I thought he was waiting like most of that fight. I mean, he got into like some leg entanglements that he wasn't winning, but he was doing okay. He got out of it. He was winning most of the fight, and he was the more tired fighter. Like he was more tired than Brandon Royval. Granted, he won that fight. He choked him out. But if I'm Alex Perez, I'm thinking about maybe dragging him into deep waters, as they say, making him tired.
Big question is also like you said, he was inactive for 2 years. Like, and I really tried to find like what's the reasons. Like he had a couple cancel fights. I
Mm.
think he even in one miss weight for some like bigger amount. So it's a big question what's going on with him. Like you had that opportunity for a title, you lost like pretty early, or let's
Mm.
say pretty easily. Like where's your brain? Like he went probably like to some rant, like was some problems like personally like this. I don't know. I just know like he had like a fight time. No, maybe even more, like 6 time his fights from different reasons get like canceled. Like maybe
Six in a row.
6 time. He had 4 time with Schnell, with our guy Schnell. they are like how to say they are like a Tony Ferguson and Khabib of this category, Schnell
Yeah,
and Perez, 4 times and 4 times. So it's a big question what's going on. Like it's a big layoff. A lot of things happens between, and also like I don't see like he's pretty good wrestler, pretty good striking, pretty. But like I just think like this is like something the heat that Alexandre brings. The intensity, the power. Also, in my opinion, he has the biggest KO power in that category after Davison.
yeah,
uh his right hand is like really good, like even when he's tired, you said like about his gas tank, he was managing to put people in the third round after grappling exchanges to their ass with that right. So pretty explosive, strong leg kicks, but especially that his right hand, I think he can cash it on that even in this fight.
I'm thinking he wins by submission. I think he maybe he throws a few right hands, knocks him down. Even if he doesn't knock him down, this guy just finds a way to teleport to guys' backs.
Yeah.
And I think he's just gonna choke this guy. Pantoja is gonna choke him. Speaking of canceled fights, it's only Wednesday, so can we put money on this fight happening or not happening?
I
Like,
think that's not possibility.
oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, but like, yeah. Also, like, question: Will Perez make his weight? Hopefully, like he took it more serious this time. I think like he had enough issues. I think he wants to fight. It's just like it's question like where is his head? Like and how he's gonna show up. And talking about the odds, like I said, Alexandre is like a favorite, minus 175. Alex Perez is underdog plus 150. So I think it's pretty good, pretty
Yeah,
good.
I
And
agree with those odds. I think if
yeah,
Pantoja wins and Moreno wins, boom, you got a match right there. There's some
yeah,
mystery.
that's for sure. I think Alexandre, if he wins this one, I don't know honestly like what's happening with the champion. Because they made this one for interim. Do you have any information?
Really, this is for the interim?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like Figueroa, Moreno lost the last one.
He
Davidson is still the
must
champion.
have some injury. Like this is the first time hearing about it, but they didn't fight too long ago. It was a few months ago they fought. So
No, but I think who knows what's happening. Also, like maybe it's like maybe he's gonna move to the upper category. Like he's pretty big for that category. I don't know. Honestly, like I didn't have a time to search it in, and he's not the subject of this event. So
so
uh,
this is a okay. So co-main is a 5 round.
yeah, 5 man, 5 round
Okay.
interim championship.
Well, that
Okay, so
strengthens my pick, but we can't get there yet. We got other fights.
other fights. Let's finish with this one. So we are both on Alexandre. You said submission.
I got submission, rear naked choke before the third round, first or second round, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with KO TKO. I think it's gonna be a ground and pound after he catch him with the right.
Not a bad call.
Let's go to the next one. Let's go to the big guys. This is pretty
Ooh, speaking of
interesting.
KOs, this is guaranteed KO, I think.
Yeah, I think this is like a question: is it gonna go to the second round at all?
All right.
If you go to Sergey Pavlovich, I think he had all first round finishes and like few decisions and one loss against Overeem in his UFC debut. And I think this is the biggest fight for him if we don't look that one, his first fight that he had against Overeem.
Yeah.
He have now some experience in UFC, not too much. Like totally, he spent like after Overeem fight like 7 minutes in the cage.
No way.
His last one was 4 minutes, and before that it was like a 1 minute and 2 minutes. So maybe now we're gonna have five. Maybe he's gonna enter the second round. You know.
I'll give Derek Lewis that much credit. I think he'll get to the second round, but I don't think this goes all three.
Yeah, interesting. Like Derek Lewis, like he fought two times for a championship. You know, like the most finishes, the 13 KOs in UFC. Like that's crazy. Like we have basically like two guys that they're like finishing monsters. You know, actually, I wanted to talk about Lewis' last fight and loss from Tuivasa. I think he looked pretty amazing in that fight, you know, until that finish. Like think about like he went for a few take not only went, he got a few takedowns, you know,
Yep.
like he's becoming like a legit mixed martial artist, you know.
Yeah,
And to get that unfortunate loss, I think he was even like he almost finished the fight, and then Taiwasa like just like he can take I think baseball bat in the head, you know, and he managed to catch him with that elbow and a couple punches before that, and unfortunately, that was the end of the
well,
night for
yeah,
Derek.
I want to say he landed a few before the elbow that kind of like
Yeah, yeah, it was few, and then elbow finished it down, and I think it put like Lewis like face first to the mat, you know, like what was crazy.
yeah, that's interesting. Now that you remind me, it was the elbow that started it all off. Because with Pavlovich, like as good as he is with the like he's finishing everyone he fights almost, he really only throws hands. He's very boxing heavy. No
Yeah,
kicks, not really elbows. He doesn't grapple. But I mean he gets the job done with his hands.
yeah, but I think this is gonna be big test for him. You know, like honestly, like I'm surprised that he's like slight favorite with minus 125. You know,
Yeah.
and Derek Lewis underdog with plus 105. You know, I really don't know how. Maybe just judging by the last fight, but I honestly think like Derek Lewis will get this one.
Mm.
What else? KO, like
Yeah, it's gotta be
was a
King.
submission for sure. Either of them, you know, like. But I think the sure bet is like it's gonna be done before 3 rounds. You know, like just
Absolutely.
maybe even first round. I'm aiming for the second one. It's better odds, so I think maybe it's time to Sergey like get to the second round.
I mean, I think experience is a huge factor, and Derek Lewis, like he's fought for the title, he's been in a bunch of main events. But I mean, I like Pavlovich in this fight. Interesting. His training partner, Volkov, Alexander Volkov, fought Derek Lewis. He was winning all of that fight,
Yeah,
and the last 10 seconds, Lewis pulls it off. He just knocks him out.
yeah, that was a crazy fight. That was a
Yeah.
crazy fight.
And but like most of the time, I would say like that experience, having your trading partner be in there with them would be a big help. But Sergey fights so different than Volkov.
Yeah.
They're completely different fighters, different body types. So how much will that help? I don't know if it'll help that much. And still, I'm picking Pavlovich to win by KO. I think maybe I'm seeing the same thing that the odds makers are seeing in that Derek Lewis, he goes big, gets a KO, or he gets KO'd, and I think this is just gonna be he's going in that trajectory where he's gonna get KO'd in this fight.
Yeah, I mean, he can maybe apply some of the tactics. You know, he have a 5-inch reach advantage. You know, that's gonna maybe help him in this fight to keep him a little bit outside until he decides to go in with his power punches. You know,
Mm,
but like for me, honestly, I think if we get like depends how the last match is gonna influence him. It's gonna put a fire under him and make him to go, or he will just go like to you know, like it's. But I that's gonna be the biggest factor for me. But like I can see Derek Lewis winning this one. So after so many, like we were on the good streak, like getting the same guys. Now we're going back to the
Now we're opposites right now, but
yep,
it is hard to go against Derek Lewis because even if he's losing a fight, he wins a fight, like he just has that power. He's got that, mental strength and fortitude to just stay in it long enough to land that punch.
yeah,
But I mean, I think actually Sergey being just predominantly a boxer will kind of help him in a way because we've seen some guys like Curtis Blades who will try to mix it up too much and go for a takedown, change levels, boom, gets knocked out with an uppercut. We'll see guys like Volkov, throw kicks and then get caught when he's on one leg, things like that. And I think maybe just using your hands is maybe a good strategy for Pavlovich, who already does that.
yeah. I agree. I completely agree with you. But let's see. Let's see what's gonna be. Few more days until we find out. Sorry. Okay, we're already on co-main event. This
Mhm.
is the interesting one.
I just found out this is a title fight. It was already a great fight. Now it's even better.
Who do you got here? What's your opinion?
So this is a rematch. What is it? The second rematch of on this card, right? Because the main event's also a rematch.
Yeah, correct.
In their first fight, Kai Kara France was winning early, in my opinion, and then Moreno, classic, Mexican fighter, he can take the damage, come forward, and he just beats you with that forward pressure and technique. And like I just think in a 5 round fight, man, it's gonna be hard to go against Moreno, who just gets stronger as the fight goes. And I think he kind of thrives in eating a few punches. That was a super fun fight. Just seeing him kind of like showboat in between combinations and kind of Kai Kara France, who's a great striker, but I think in these 5 round fights, Moreno, he's got that 5 round experience, and I think that's going to be enough to kind of wear out Kai Kara France, maybe even finish Kai.
3 times in the row. 3 times in the row.
Yeah.
Title fights back and forth. Like I think Moreno is maybe happy. Like I mean, again, he's getting a rematch. He already fought the guy, but like I think he's maybe like even though he lost the title, but like I think he got sick of Davison. Like 3 fights in a row.
Yeah.
That's why I think we're gonna have like a fresh, rejuvenated, like
Yeah.
Moreno. Also, like if the history is teaching us anything, like he already won this fight, and after that, I think, like in my opinion, he gained that experience. Like he had like three title fights, 3 camps for 5 minute round, 5 minute rounds, So I think like honestly that he improved even more than from the last time they fought.
Mm.
Also, like Kai, like we shouldn't forget, like he maybe didn't have that experience, but like he's at the gym with 2 champions. Like I think two pretty dominant champions with Volkov and Adesanya, so he can pick up from them that championship mentality. His team for sure know what's needed to be a champion. It's just question, can he do it? You
Right.
know what I saw, like I really like. Uh, I'm enjoying in his stand up, like even how he opened the first fight against Moreno. That was the path to the victory. Like I don't know why he didn't continue with that leg locks. Uh, Sorry, I'm too much in jiu-jitsu. I was thinking that chopping that front leg,
Yeah.
especially Moreno is staying too wide. Like he have that wider. So similar to Connor, that front leg is exposed, just like he's managing that long jab to to really how to say even when the people attack to go for a counter, and then he goes for the series of the punches, and he also have really nice kicks, uh really fast, like explosive,
So freaking fast, man.
yeah, it's crazy. Like, I'm really impressed. Like, when you think like that he's really good on the hands, and then that leg comes, like, you're like, oh, how that happened, like, that's like his weapon, like, but like, if we go to the last fight that he lost, actually, Davison really explored that, and he went really heavy, and I think that cost him a fight, and champion, and the title, because really he chopped that leg, and then it was really hard, even though like he finished the fight, but I think that took the toll, and that was the main reason why he couldn't defend his title, in my
Yeah,
opinion. And I think now, if that team, and I guess the team of Kai was looking at, and for sure they're gonna explore that, and especially with his amazing stand up, that's very possible. That's gonna happen.
that is a great point because that is a tool that he definitely has in his arsenal. It's the fast leg kicks.
Yeah,
Um,
and even in the first fight, in the first round, he was using it, not too much, but
yeah,
like he was, and just like later, Brandon managed to run him over, and he didn't came back to it that much.
yeah. I will say though, if you ask Moreno, the score between him and Figueiredo, I would say he probably thinks he won all three fights, like even the last one. So like the confidence going into this is going to be huge for him. Someone who already believes he should still be the champ, and then also this is for the title fight. So I think he's going in there like this is a
To
defense.
defend, yeah, to defend his title.
Uh,
Yeah, I think. I mean, it could go both ways, like, but I think he got more damage. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Davison was more, and like I said, he's the most powerful striker, and maybe the biggest guy in that division.
Mhm.
So of course, like, he's gonna make more damage. Like, but I think that leg kick, going back to that, I would like to see statistic how much he received the kicks in that leg, but like still he managed to push the pace. But I think it didn't go as much as he could. That leg didn't. It wasn't that damage. That was my point.
And I wonder if those three fights in a row with Figueiredo, like this, it could be good, like you said, it'll be a fresh Moreno getting a new opponent finally, or it could be a kind of a shock because, in my opinion, Kai Kara France is a lot faster than Figueiredo. Maybe not as much power as Figueiredo, but he's much faster. So I wonder,
I
even
don't think I don't think that's gonna be an issue in this, because Moreno is pretty fast himself.
yeah,
So I don't think that's gonna be issue. Also, I think we're gonna see all out stand up war. Like, uh, Kai improve his wrestling defense. I think it's so hard to put him on the back. I
yeah.
don't see him going to try to take down Moreno. So I think we're gonna see a similar fight that we saw in the first match. Just like all out stand up war, more or less.
On the ground, though, I do give the edge to Moreno, but like
Yeah,
you said,
I
like
agree. I agree, but I
I,
don't think,
yeah,
maybe from some exchange, like, because if you look, Kai's last fight, he went against Askarov,
mm,
but like he's more or less like similar to Khabib. He goes and he tries to go for, and Kai was really good defending. But like, if Brandon makes it really good, and then like just like sink in and go for a takedown, maybe he can take him down. Will
yeah,
he manage to keep him down, or from the scramble go for the back?
right.
Very possible. But like, I think it's gonna be a stand up war. But let's see what the guys prepared. Like, uh,
Yeah, I'm most looking forward to this fight. I gotta say, no disrespect to any of the other fights, but like this is my main event right here.
yeah, and Moreno is pretty big favorite. I think minus 210.
Mhm.
And Kai Kara France is on plus 180, but like even though it's minus 110, I'm gonna go with Moreno on this one.
Yeah, I would have to do the same. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad odds for Kai Kara France. I think he's a live dog, but I mean, just look at the experience that Moreno has and the history. Like he's beaten this guy, so I think that's
Yeah,
fine.
and I think if he doesn't finish in the first two and a half, that's Moreno all the way.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, the only main event left.
All right,
This is the cherry on the top of the cake.
we got what Chicago versus Miami.
Yep. But both imported from
Yeah,
South America.
elsewhere. Yeah. Man, this is crazy. Crazy that they're still putting Nunes as a pretty big favorite, I think. But I guess with her history, it makes sense. Um, have you heard anything about Nunes's camp going into their first fight?
No, but like I didn't manage to dig anything out. Like I think she wasn't even pretty vocal about it. She didn't look for any excuses. What I can take from it, like she even had a smile on her face.
Hmm.
I don't know. Did she went too easy in that fight? There's like, let me go like this. There's like few factors going into the first fight. It maybe like she was like so dominant, like people maybe lost the interest anymore in that. Also, like the situation with the I think that was the time when she got a kid, like
Right.
she was like how much 11 fights win in a row,
Mm.
all finishes. I think only against I think she was struggling
So
only.
was a decision, and then every other fight was a finish.
Yeah, only like four times. Let's go like this: four times she won by decision. Both
Okay.
times Valentina, and two times in featherweight
Yeah.
against German the Randami and Felicia Spencer, and that was both. Uh, I actually am making mistake. She went with Germain for bantamweight. I was thinking that was also featherweight.
Right. Yeah, because I believe they both fought featherweight before.
Yeah, my mistake. But like now I saw like what they say, like here at least if I have right information, it was for bantamweight. But that was only fights that she didn't finish. Everything else, she was cleaning everybody out, And then from the other side, Juliana Pena that was like looking uh, for that fight, like
Right.
it was like she knew something about it, you know and
Agree, and she showed up, that's for sure.
yeah, and she did what she said she's gonna do, so that's the factors, like now for me, like Amanda Nunes is like minus 275 favorite, Pena
Mm.
plus 230, like I like those odds, like plus one
Oh, yeah.
230 for the Juliana Pena. Also, like for me, the sure or secure bet is like that this is not gonna go to 5 rounds. So
Yep.
if Amanda wants to win, I mean, if Pena wants to win, she has to do the same what she did in the first. She needs to bring the fight to Amanda.
Yep.
So she's gonna break her again and do more or less the same thing to finish her or to finish on TKO. I don't see she can KO on the legs, even though she had a couple good punches. But like I think Amanda wasn't on her, not even close to 100%,
Yeah.
and that's the best chance for Amanda with her power to shut her off. So basically, the for me sure bet is here that we're not gonna see the 5 rounds. Not even I think like more than I see the finish in third or fourth. Now, on which side? I'm gonna go with Pena. She have the momentum, and she has plus 230. Like I like to go for the underdogs and play around. If you want to make some money, you want to
Right.
bet there.
I like Pena in this fight too. But I also like that, Nunes didn't make any excuses, like you said, for that first fight. But people that are close to kind of like both camps, I've heard in like interviews, Nunes didn't have a fight camp for that first one. So if you remember, like in the lead up, they were talking about like Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes fighting.
Oh yeah,
And they're two teammates, both fighting out of American Top Team, and the classic, one fighter has to go, and it was Nunes that left, and she was just opening up her gym, and apparently she didn't have a fight camp, and that's something that Pena was saying too in the lead up, that she knew, like she heard from Amanda's coaches that she hasn't been training, and
that's
if
very possible. Sorry that I interrupted. That's very possible. Like I said, I like to. That's why I think I'm good. Like in live betting, when I see the reactions, the energy, like the look in the eyes, some small gestures, same what I saw after that fight. Like she just took her gloves off. She was even smiling. Congratulations. Like like exactly everything what you say for me now it makes sense. Also another thing, like also like how to say, you need some diversity to bring people in. Like
yeah,
for her, this is gonna be a much bigger paycheck. She's still a champion. I guess she's getting the points or the bigger paycheck, whatever. She still have one belt.
uh-huh,
She created some, and now she's gonna probably go for the revenge.
she's
So I
looking
mean,
to cash
call me
in.
conspiracy theory, but like that's like what I'm thinking. You know.
Uh, I mean, Juliana Pena, that's been like her kind of dream. Like she's always been saying whenever she calls people out, at first it was like Ronda Rousey, and then it was Holly Holm, and then Amanda Nunes, right? She's always calling the champion out. And she always says this line, I'll be your Buster Douglas. And to me, that's like, all right, that's she's gonna beat up, the Tyson, so to speak. And she did that. So after she does that, is she still hungry? Can she beat Nunes again? Can lightning strike twice, right? Um I like her odds, but also like I'm kind of a sucker for the underdog, and she pulled it off once. I want to see her do it again. But like if Nunes does figure out her fight camp and her training, that's gonna be scary for Pena.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Like, and also like coming back to that, like you said, that mindset. Like, if that was in her subconscious, however, like I'm your Buster Douglas,
Yeah.
only once. You know what's gonna exactly. You had a good point. So like I'm saying, like I'm gonna probably in some parlay I'm gonna put Juliana Pena. Already I did. Like I think I did 11 fights with the prelims and everything.
Mhm.
I managed to get it like I think on $20. I put some uh like straight parlay 11, and I was just playing like with some small money, and I went like 7 from 11 I think to win like the combinations. If I got everything right, I'm good 22 G's, so
Let's go.
that's gonna be hard, but like I'm aiming at least for 8, 9. I'm good. That's couple grand, and I put Juliana there to win. In those small ones, I'm gonna run her here and there. But like more or less for me, sure bet is like we're not gonna see 5 decision here.
Mm. I think Pena, she's like, if she's got her mindset on doing this one more time, I think like she's gonna go in there. Like I talked about confidence before in the other fights, and I think this is another big one where you've won the first match and going into the rematch, which the first one wasn't that long ago. I believe it was still 2022.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't think
No, 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 no. It was December 2021.
okay, but still not like years
No,
apart where they could really change their game so much. I think I like Pena again in this one.
yeah, I agree with you. I'm like, but sure bet. with
But you know what's
UFC.
crazy is even if Pena wins the second time, there's still a possibility for a third match at featherweight because she
Yeah,
is the title holder, Nunes is.
but
So
like even if she lose, she can go for the other belt. Like
yeah,
maybe they're gonna make that
get
because
those pay-per-view
there
polls.
is no one. I don't know what's the situation now in featherweight, but it's not that. It's not that too many people, like too many girls
No,
inside. So maybe they're gonna run that back. Who knows? Maybe if she wins again, she goes for other title. If she lose, maybe like she will put a claim. It's 1-1. Let's go, but let's try other title. Who knows?
yeah,
There is so many possibility in the game.
yeah. Unless they pick up Kayla Harrison, which I think she just signed a deal to PF.
No, I think she's out for this season. I think.
Yeah, so unless they have it there, I think featherweight, like it's kind of like bantamweight for those who don't want to cut weight as much. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It could be this exact rematch again in a few months. We'll see.
yeah, I think that's very possible. Okay, brother. Let's see Saturday.
All
And
right. I'm pumped. Get your bets in if you're the betting type. Hopefully our picks steer you in the right direction.
if you're not betting, I hope we made it more interesting for you to tune in this Saturday and watch the fights. At
That's
least every time I'm getting like when we start talking about it, watching the fight, I get even more excited for,
Yeah,
for
I
the
mean, it's especially like putting on your predictions like that. It's like if what you predicted happens, oh shit, it happened. And then if it's a complete opposite, that's also like that's crazy too. You never know what to expect in MMA. It's awesome.
yeah, exactly. Like especially if it doesn't go your way or completely opposite, you start dreaming about Paul Craig. I'm already like on 3 nights, like I'm thinking about ripping his heel off. So, but it is how it is. That's the name of the game. I'm kidding, Paul. Don't
Uh,
don't
between
kill me.
our guillotines and our heel hooks, you can expect one of those breakdowns, I'm sure, in the future. So stay tuned.
See you guys.
All right, peace.